I left my heart in Buchenwald. Should we scream before we open the door that reveals a road that stretches to oblivion, with rows of huts lining each side of the path, with guards at each door, armed to the teeth? Walk down that road and open each door. A man stands by his bed with a white collar round his neck, wearing an army greatcoat over striped pyjamas, with horn-rimmed glasses on his face. Through broken teeth he whispers, "Welcome to this place." Alexander sets out to conquer. Rome falls to the Huns of Attila. Dust settles on all these empires. All their prisoners are sent to these camps. The walls are damp and wet. They run with blood, and at the end of the day we have no regrets. Glory is written on the banner. Napoleon retreats from Moscow as soldiers hail him from the trenches, where machine guns ensure they keep their heads low, while men who fought with the blue and grey reach out their hands to greet each other. They smile and say, "You know, I should have killed you." The camp doctor walks round the beds, his white coat stained with blood. He leans over a patient and whispers in his ear. What did he say? "All will be well, my friend. Just one more experiment, and then we shall all be cured." The guard dogs howl as they wait for their feed. One day we shall all be cured, and we shall all be free. In a catacomb, pictures line the wall. Blood mixes with the excrement. These are the faces of all the people who ever lived in this camp, and all the people that ever lived gazed down upon me from that wall. And from one picture I saw myself gazing down with questions fixed within my eye. In the garden the bodies were piled up together of all the people who had dared to smile, but never laugh at the judge, especially when it is you that is on trial. For you must always take life seriously, for death has no meaning if you truly believe that all of this is not reality. There was a man who absent-mindedly poked at a pile of ashes of human bones. He said simply as an afterthought, "I did all this simply because someone told me to, for if I had had a choice, I would much prefer to be in Manchester watching the rain fall." The teacher walked around the camp with a class of school children in her hands, who wrote down notes on sheets of paper which said, "Life is life, and this is not slave labour, and no matter what anyone tells you, your place in the camp is guaranteed, and your beds already await you." The hangman throws his rope over the tree branch that the hopes of every man have ever hung from, and said, "When you are dead, there is no escaping the fact you are human." His assistant was already making a new picture frame, writing the name of his very next victim on a piece of paper called birth certificate. The trees hung with soot, but the smell was good, for their leaves were made of rosemary and lavender, so whenever you need a rest, you always had a branch to stand under. All the hangman ever had to do was shorten his rope and leave you there, suspended. Sometimes troops arrived who said they'd come to save us, but they always broke down in tears and said, "Who in the world could have ever done this?" And they found themselves stripped, just victims of the whip, and you call this liberation. You could see by the state of this place that someone was ill, so they said, "Take this pill, read this book called the Bible, and if you truly understand it all, then you could get well some time later and see the revival." Then someone had the bright idea, "We can cure them all with industrial methods," but there was but one flaw in this wonderful plan, because it was understood that we would kill them all, and then they would understand what we are all here for, and that is why it was always best to kill them by deception. Then there was a deep black hole covered in flies, and I said, "To whom does that hole belong?" The man in the glasses said, "This is the heart of man. You can feel beating, and it is alive and well, and in any case, when you entered the gate, did you not read the sign that said, 'No retreating'?" You must always advance from birth to death and never ask any questions. You have your script that has always been Holy Writ, which comes under the heading Rules and Regulations, and we have our methods for dealing with anyone who causes undue disturbances. Who wrote these words? I don't know. They have been there since time immemorial, and this is the list of the mighty and the good, the famous people who have always endorsed them, and it is very unlikely that anyone who reads these words will ever be able to change them. What then of all those great rebellions and revolutions? They never make any difference. All they do is take the words of that writ and reframe them and reconfirm them, and it is only done when the inmates believe that it is their turn to take their leaders and burn them, and that is always regarded as expedient whenever the circumstances dictate it. Who lit this fire which all mankind warms their hands on, where people stand in line and get pushed from behind into the flames awaiting for them? Why, we did it ourselves, because we must have some explanation for our existence, and you must understand that this is all that there is, so resistance is futile. So on we walk down this road that we call endless, and we always know what is best, and we should not pretend otherwise, and that black heart continues to beat, and the flies peck at their meat among the shit upon which they thrive, and it is always us that feeds them. The teacher then puts down his pen and stares at the words that he feels condemned to write, and wishes for sleep and a pleasant bed to keep him warm at night, and the man in the glasses gives him the last rites, wishes him good night, and says, your bed is over there, the one beneath your picture, yes, that one with a smile wiped off its face, at the side of your next door neighbour's. The end.